February 14, 2022 marked the beginning of the end for the unprecedented pandemic restrictions in Canada. But one ordeal took over another when the federal police charged 4 men, Chris Carbet, Anthony Oilnick, Jerry Morin and Christopher Lisak, with conspiracy to murder RCMP officers. It's a serious accusation and it hasn't been proven in court, but the courts are taking unusually long. The fact that they've been behind bars for more than 500 days leads some people to believe that these 4 men are the political prisoners of the Canadian government.
A cache of weapons, including long guns, handguns, and body armor.
They're being treated as if they're guilty without ever having a trial.
Held without due process. Their bail hearing was an absolute travesty. They're getting the runaround all over the place.
Political prisoners in Canada. It's an absolute travesty.
What are we at, 438 days in jail right now?
Their lives are destroyed around them. Their family members are dying while they're in jail.
I've been here 6 generations. I don't like what I see going on.
I would want people to do what they're doing for me if it was me in jail.
Are you demanding that a rapist or a child abuser be kept in jail until they have a guilty verdict? Because they're out on bail. The difference is they didn't speak out against the government.
Hello, my name is Jason Levine. I'm an independent journalist and politician, and also a podcaster covering the story of the Coutts 4 here in Lethbridge, Alberta.
And I'm Margaret Mackay, better known as Granny Mackay, and I'm a mother, a grandmother, and now a friend to the Coutts 4. Well, for me, it started back, I guess, February 2022. I'd heard about some arrests in Coutts, Alberta. I was in Ottawa at the time with the convoy. And I heard about some men that had been arrested, and I went on the search for them. When I found them, I found 4, I guess, Alberta family men. And I got to know them, I got to know their families, and I saw the lies in Ottawa with the government, the media, and the officers that were on site there. And I thought, if it can happen in Ottawa, it can happen in Coutts. So I went to find the truth. And I found out the truth is locked inside the remand centers of Alberta with Chris, Jerry, Tony, and Chris.
In February 2022, I was watching Trudeau as he came out and announced the Emergencies Act. And on the 22nd of February, he told us that if we didn't like what he did, we should run against him and become a politician. So that's exactly what I did. And as part of my journey, I started to do a podcast to reach out to my community. And the main event that I started to cover in 2021 or 2022 was the POEC events in October, November, December. I followed every single minute of that, streamed every single minute of it, and followed exactly what the evidence was. And it came down to the Coutts situation. About a month ago, I reached out to Twitter and I asked people, who knows about the Coutts men? What's going on with them? And somebody put me into contact with Granny Mackay. And then from that point, I helped create a show. We got together every single morning, covered the events, covered the evidence, and I've been talking about it for 21 episodes now. And now I get to do it from here, cover the court case, and bring this back to people as an independent journalist. I do feel like they are political prisoners for the simple fact that after 526 days, they have not received bail. In Canada, you're innocent until proven guilty, and everybody gets bail. In Toronto, we have an accused cop killer walking the streets right now on bail, again accused, but we do have a dead officer in Toronto and an accused cop killer. And we also have Antifa, who drove over some gentleman in Winnipeg, who was also granted bail. In Canada, we have conditions. For example, we'll remove your passport, we'll put a tracker on you, you can't have guns, you can't associate with people. You just have to look at Tamara Lynch's conditions to understand that in Canada, people can get bail with conditions. These gentlemen, unfortunately, have not received that luxury or that right here in Canada to have bail. They should be setting up for trial, just like everybody else. We don't know what the guilt or the innocence is at this stage, but we definitely want to see a trial happen. And right now, we're not going to see a trial until May, June 2024. That will put it 27 months after the arrest, and that's an incredibly long time for any Canadian, for any event, to be waiting for trial. So for those reasons, I do believe it's a political prisoner situation.
And for myself, I've in my journey of raising awareness for the men, because at the start of all this, nobody knew about them. Everybody was running away from them. They heard the charges and they ran. And I kept saying innocent until proven guilty. No matter what the truth is, the truth needs to come out. So, and in our journey, we started discovering some lies. And if there's one, there's more. So here we are. No matter what the truth is, they deserve due process and they deserve to share their story, 4 individual men's stories, but they're not being allowed that. It keeps going on and on. And again, like Jason said, everybody gets bail in Canada, but not these 4. So why?
Today, July 24th, was my first time to see the men. I traveled here from west of Edmonton, drove with my family to be here. I had to be here. I was very compelled to be here. So today was my first time seeing the men. I have spoken to them, so I've heard their voices. Watching them walk in was a very emotional thing for me because these are grown men, but they have big smiles on. They got to see their family, their friends, and have their day in court today. Today was an application for Chris Carbert on whether or not his confession or his interview was legit or if the rights were violated. The judge decided that he didn't quite reach the threshold of violating his rights, but he did identify that some things were not quite right and it wasn't necessarily done properly. But he did decide that the interview will stand. But tomorrow, July 25th, is when we get to start understanding what the result of the CC1 is, which is an application that the defense has provided. And because of that application, the lead counsel for the Crown, Stephen Johnston, has been recused from the case, so he will not be here tomorrow. We did see him today. He did make an appearance today, asking some questions of what time to arrive tomorrow and whether or not he will be able to participate. He will not be able to participate, and if he's ever needed or if he's needed tomorrow, he'll be called. But the conclusion of today was what we expected, the Chris Carbert application to challenge the interview. It was a very tough and high bar to rise to for the defense, and didn't quite make it today. But we are looking forward to tomorrow's results of the application of the CC1 and the judge's decision around that.
And for myself, I've been here every minute that the men have been inside the Lethbridge courthouse. I will continue to be here every day and until this is resolved. When I see the men, I think of all the photos that I've seen over the past year, and I see 4 men that have lost a lot of weight. I see 4 men that aren't as healthy as they used to once look. 525 days inside a remand jail will do that because they don't get to see sunlight. So we will be here with them, and we will go on the journey with them until we see them in the sunlight once again. Oh boy, that's a hard one. There's 7 children involved. There's 3 fathers in the courtroom, Chris, and Jerry. And Tony is an only child to an 80-year-old mother. They've lost 525 days with their families. And you can only imagine, just imagine at this very moment, one of your family members disappears and they end up inside behind a locked door, and you can't get them out. You can't get them due process. You can't get them any help. So they're so grateful to people like Jason and people like yourself stepping up and helping their family. They need help, and we're it. So yeah, they're struggling, but they have faith and they have hope. And the 4 people that help them the most are the 4 that are actually in the remand centers. They help their family get through this.
I've had the pleasure to meet friends and family. So every Friday on our podcast, we do have friends and family on to discuss the life of the men, the future of the men, and their family as well. And I had the honor of spending some time with a whole bunch of friends and families yesterday for dinner. I got to shake their hands and hug so many people. All I felt that entire time was love, compassion, and hope. There was no fear, anger, or disappointment. They're absolutely looking forward to a brighter day with their family member coming home. They do believe that they're innocent. That's the belief of the family. And they do believe that they're going to continue to have a family once this is over. I was able to shake the hand of Mike Lysick, yes, apologies. And I looked right into his eyes. That man is full of love. I can see where Chris Lysick gets it from. And I can see why his daughters are beautiful, beautiful women. I am very pleased and honored to be able to talk, meet, and spend time with this family. There is no hate here.
Alberta Political Prisoners page. If you can come and join us on that page, like for myself, that's where I put my updates. I'm not a podcaster like this young man here, but I do share what the family has to say, and I do share what I learn along the way. And again, please come and help them. Innocent until proven guilty. Just come and hit the share button and help raise awareness across this country. They deserve that. These 4 men deserve to be seen, so please help us.
In Canada, we all deserve a trial. And to all the people out there who have already decided that these guys are guilty and they did it, I just want to remind you that it was an allegation at this point. We haven't even seen the evidence that substantiates that allegation. And any one of us, it doesn't matter your political alignment or ideology, any one of us can be falsely accused of something. So we have to make sure that the justice system is a justice system. Everybody's treated fairly, irregardless of political alignment. And if you do find yourself one day, maybe you're on a different side of me on the political spectrum, but I would fight for you too if your rights were not being respected. Justice in Canada is important, and without it, we don't have a true democracy. And I'd like to say another message to the media. Thank you very much for starting to pick up this story. It's very important that people do share it and get this out. There was a publication ban on particular items, but that publication ban does not include all the information in the court, and we can't continue to tell the story of the men. So thank you very much for taking the time, and share, share, share. Thank you.
And thank you, Mocha, for doing your part. We really do appreciate you.
The 4 men are expected to remain behind bars almost another year. I was in the courtroom today, I saw the 4 men, and there was not a single mainstream media outlet there. If you want to support my independent and impartial journalism and to keep this video freely accessible to the public, please do consider making a donation at mediabizergan.com/donate so that I can continue to cover stories like these that the mainstream media doesn't cover. Thank you.